In the heart of the Andromeda sector, where metal planets gleamed under the light of twin suns, the interstellar games of war were the greatest spectacle any species could witness. Alien crowds from hundreds of worlds had gathered to watch the finest war machines clash in a contest of power, speed, and strategy. Huge mechanical beasts roared through arenas that stretched for kilometers, each designed to crush, outsmart, or destroy the others. Among these monstrous creations, there was one machine that drew attention, but not for the right reasons. It was called the Warhorse, though it hardly deserved the name. Its metal joints creaked loudly, its sensors flickered inconsistently, and its armor was scratched and dented from years of neglect. Some wires hung loosely from its body, sparking occasionally. Its engines whined as though they were tired of carrying the burden of the machine itself. The aliens who had built and maintained the other war machines could not hide their laughter. The Gorthons, a tall, four-armed species with green, scaly skin and eyes like molten silver, pointed at the Warhorse and howled. "Is this your champion?" one Gorthon barked, flexing its sharp claws in mock excitement. "It looks like a child's toy. Even our smallest drones are faster and smarter." Other aliens joined in, their mocking voices echoing through the crowded arena. They stomped their feet and clicked their mandibles, each sound a note in the chorus of ridicule. Even the arena announcer, a holographic AI that usually stayed neutral, could not hide a digital smirk as it described the Warhorse in a tone dripping with sarcasm. But somewhere among the chaos, in the lower levels of the arena's marketplace, a human named Elias Kale walked with calm purpose. Elias was not like the other beings who had come for spectacle or glory. He was a trader, a tinkerer, and a man who saw value where others saw waste. His brown eyes scanned the stalls and machines, not for things that gleamed or shouted, but for things that could be reborn. He heard the laughter first and then noticed the source. The Warhorse. It sat alone, neglected, surrounded by the noise of other, far superior machines. Its paint was chipped and one leg looked slightly twisted, yet Elias felt a spark of curiosity. Where the aliens saw weakness, he saw potential. He approached, careful to avoid the mocking eyes of the Gorthons, who were too busy laughing to notice him. "This one?" Elias asked the stallkeeper, a small blue-skinned alien with 6 eyes. "Yes," the alien replied, shrugging. "It's useless. Nobody wants it. You could take it for free if you dared to touch it." Elias chuckled quietly. "Free, you say? Sometimes the cheapest things hide the greatest surprises." With a few swift movements, he transferred credits from his portable bank to the stallkeeper. The transaction was simple, almost anticlimactic, but Elias did not mind. The Warhorse was now his responsibility. As he ran his hand along the cold metal, he felt the history embedded in its frame. This machine had fought battles, survived damage, and yet remained. There was a stubborn life in its structure, a persistence that no alien laughter could erase. Other traders and spectators watched him with skepticism. "A human?" whispered one alien. "Why would he take that piece of junk?" Elias ignored them. He had learned long ago that the opinions of those who could not see potential were irrelevant. He climbed into the Warhorse's cockpit, a tight space lined with old buttons and flickering lights. He took a deep breath and activated the rudimentary systems. The machine shuddered, groaning as if awakening from a long sleep. Sparks flew from old circuits and smoke rose from a small vent. But Elias remained calm. "Let's see what you can really do," he murmured, his fingers dancing over the controls. The Warhorse moved. Slowly, awkwardly and imperfectly, but it moved. Its movements were jerky, its sensors flickered like weak stars, yet it responded to his commands. Elias smiled. There was work to do, but there was hope too. Over the next several hours, he inspected every joint, every wire, and every panel. He found damage that no alien would bother fixing: cracked hydraulic lines, outdated processors, a fractured energy core. To most, these would be reasons to abandon the machine, but Elias saw opportunities. He knew that with patience and ingenuity, he could bring this Warhorse to life in ways the original builders never imagined. Outside the arena, the Gorthons continued their boasting. "No human could ever fix that," one shouted. "It's laughable." Elias, sitting inside the cockpit, could hear them, but he did not respond. He knew that what mattered was not laughter or ridicule, but effort, understanding, and creativity. Humanity had always thrived where others doubted them. and this was no different. As night fell across the metallic cityscape, the arena lights dimmed, leaving Elias and the warhorse under a soft glow. He worked quietly, replacing old circuits with human-engineered parts, rewiring the damaged processors and patching armor with lightweight, durable alloys. He even installed a small AI assistant to help the warhorse learn from its own movements. The warhorse, once stiff and clumsy, began to move with more fluidity. It stumbled less, its sensors became more responsive, and for the first time in years, its engines purred steadily instead of whining. Elias knew it was only the beginning, but already he felt a sense of pride. This was more than a machine. It was a companion, a project, and perhaps a symbol of something greater. That night, as the twin suns set, Elias paused to observe the warhorse. He could almost see the machine's potential shining through the scratches and dents. It was not the fastest, not the strongest, but it had heart, and in Elias's hands, that heart could become unstoppable. Back in the arena, the alien spectators had left for their luxurious quarters, satisfied with their laughter and confident that nothing could challenge their superior designs. They had no idea that a human, with patience, intelligence, and determination, was already preparing a surprise that would change the course of the interstellar games forever. As Elias powered down the warhorse for the night, he whispered, "Tomorrow we begin the real work. Tomorrow they will see what a human can do." The broken warhorse, once ridiculed and abandoned, now held a quiet promise. Under Elias's care, it would rise not just as a machine but as a testament to human ingenuity. The galaxy might laugh now, but soon it would watch in awe, and somewhere deep in the machine's circuitry, as its systems cooled and lights dimmed, there seemed to be a flicker of anticipation, as if the warhorse itself understood that its time was coming. Morning light broke across the sprawling city of metal and glass. Twin suns reflected off the towering structures, painting long shadows over the marketplace where machines of all sizes sat, waiting to be tested. Inside his small, cluttered workshop, aboard his spaceship, Elias Kale stood over the warhorse. Its body now looked slightly better after the first night's work, but Elias knew it had a long journey ahead. He tapped the cockpit control panel, and the warhorse responded, moving with less creak than yesterday, though still far from perfect. Sparks danced from the joints as it turned its heavy metal head, watching Elias as if the machine were alive. Perhaps, in a way, it was. Elias knelt beside the exposed circuits on the warhorse's leg. "You need more than a patchwork fix," he said quietly. "You need intelligence, agility, and strength. And I think we can get there." He held up a small device, a human-engineered processor with adaptive learning capabilities. Carefully, he began replacing the warhorse's old, cracked processors with the new ones, one by one. The first challenge was the energy core. The warhorse's original core had been damaged beyond repair. Elias worked carefully, connecting his own portable energy module to the machine. The warhorse shuddered as power surged through its frame. Its sensors flickered and then stabilized. Elias smiled. "Good. That's a start." Next came the hydraulics. The warhorse's joints had once groaned with every movement. Elias replaced worn pistons with advanced alloys that humans had engineered to be both light and strong. Slowly, he tested each joint, moving limbs and observing their responses. Each click and hiss of hydraulics sounded like music to his ears. He was giving this broken machine a second life. While working, Elias considered the AI system he would install. The warhorse needed more than raw strength. It needed intelligence. He connected the adaptive learning module, letting it process thousands of combat scenarios in minutes. It was a test to see if the warhorse could not only move, but also think, anticipate, and react. The AI hummed quietly as it integrated with the machine's systems. Hours passed. The twin suns climbed high, painting the city in a golden glow. Outside, aliens passed by, still laughing at the warhorse. They could not see the subtle changes happening inside Elias's workshop. To them, it was still a broken machine, unworthy of attention. But Elias knew better. He had seen the potential hidden beneath the rust, dents, and frayed wires. By late afternoon, the warhorse was beginning to move more smoothly. It walked without stumbling, its head tracking Elias's movements. Small tests of speed and agility showed improvement, and Elias's heart swelled with quiet pride. The machine was learning, adapting, and growing stronger. "This is where most would give up," Elias said, speaking aloud though no one was there to hear. "But we don't give up. Not you, not me. Not ever." He climbed into the cockpit, testing the interface that now allowed him to communicate directly with the war horse's AI. "Can you understand me?" he asked. The cockpit lights blinked in response. "Yes," came a synthesized voice, calm and steady. Elias's lips curved into a small smile. "Good. Now let's see what you can really do." The first trials were simple, moving through obstacles, climbing ramps, and lifting heavy weights. The warhorse excelled at each task, surprising even Elias. Its AI learned quickly, predicting which moves would save energy or prevent strain. Slowly, the broken machine began showing signs of the human ingenuity that had brought it back to life. But Elias knew the real test would come with combat simulation. The aliens would laugh again if they saw the warhorse try to fight. Still, he prepared. Using holographic projectors, he created virtual opponents, some modeled after the alien machines that would soon face the warhorse in the arena. The first rounds were chaotic. The warhorse stumbled, overextended its arms, and miscalculated its attacks. Elias remained calm. "Mistakes are lessons," he said. "Every failure makes you stronger." With each trial, the warhorse improved. It dodged attacks, blocked strikes, and even countered moves with a strategy that surprised Elias. It was learning faster than any human engineer could have expected. By evening, the warhorse could anticipate moves before they happened, a combination of raw power and adaptive intelligence that no alien machine had ever achieved. Elias allowed himself a small moment of pride, but he did not stop. Next, he focused on speed and maneuverability. The original warhorse had been slow, lumbering, a target for any agile opponent. Using lightweight alloys and human-engineered boosters, he increased the machine's speed without sacrificing stability. The test area shook as the warhorse sprinted across the floor, leaping over obstacles and turning with precision. Elias watched closely, adjusting hydraulics and sensors to perfect balance and control. "You're ready for more," he said. "Soon they will see that strength isn't just about size, it's about intelligence and adaptability." As the night grew deeper, Elias moved on to combat drills. Holographic enemies attacked the warhorse from all sides. It blocked, countered, and even used the environment to its advantage. Elias could see the machine's confidence growing. It was no longer the broken warhorse that aliens had mocked. It was becoming something far greater, a combination of human ingenuity and mechanical resilience. Despite the progress, Elias knew they could not reveal the machine yet. Alien engineers were always watching, always judging. If they saw the warhorse improving, they would dismiss it as human luck or some fluke. Elias wanted them to see the final result, when the warhorse could no longer be ignored. To prepare further, he installed defensive systems. Small energy shields could deploy to protect vulnerable areas, and he added modular weapons that could adapt to different opponents. Each modification required careful testing, but the warhorse adapted quickly, learning to coordinate movement, defense, and attack in ways no alien machine could predict. By midnight, the warhorse stood fully transformed. Its once dented armor now gleamed under the soft workshop lights. Its sensors tracked Elias's every movement, and its joints moved with smooth precision. It could anticipate attacks, adapt strategies, and execute commands with speed and strength beyond its original design. Elias stepped back, breathing heavily but smiling. He ran a hand along the machine's polished armor. "You are no longer a joke," he whispered. "You are a symbol of what humans can do when we refuse to give up." For the first time, the warhorse responded with a low, resonant sound, a sound almost like pride. The AI had learned not just to move, but to understand the purpose behind its movements. It understood Elias. Outside the workshop, the city was quiet. Alien merchants had returned to their quarters, still confident that the human had wasted his time on a broken machine. They did not know that a revolution in thought, strategy, and power was being born in that small workshop. Elias knew the next step would be testing in the arena. The warhorse would face other machines, built by the galaxy's most advanced engineers. But for now, he allowed himself a moment to rest. The transformation was complete. What had once been mocked as useless was now a machine of intelligence, strength, and adaptability. As he powered down the warhorse for the night, Elias felt a thrill of anticipation. Tomorrow they would face the arena together, and tomorrow the laughter of the aliens might turn to disbelief. The warhorse, once ridiculed and abandoned, now waited silently. Its sensors dimmed, but its AI processed everything it had learned. It understood that something greater was coming, a challenge that would test everything it had gained. Elias looked at the machine, a human and a creation forged together through ingenuity and patience. "Rest well," he said softly. "Tomorrow, they will see what we can do." And somewhere deep within the warhorse's circuitry, a small spark of recognition glimmered. It was no longer broken. It was learning, growing, and ready. For the first time, Elias realized that the warhorse was not just a machine. It was a partner, a proof that human ingenuity could transform even the most discarded creation into something extraordinary. Tomorrow would be the test. Tomorrow, the galaxy would witness a human challenge the expectations of countless alien species. And tomorrow, laughter would meet astonishment. The arena buzzed with anticipation. Towering above the ground, the Interstellar Games of War Stadium held thousands of alien spectators. Each seat was packed with creatures from countless worlds, their voices rising in a cacophony of excitement. Holographic displays projected the competing machines, flashing their specifications, strengths, and battle records. Most of the crowd focused on the usual champions, gleaming, sleek war machines built by species renowned for their engineering. And then there was the warhorse. The crowd laughed at the sight. Once again, the human machine looked different from the rest. Its metal body, though polished and repaired, still retained a sense of ruggedness. Its shape was not as streamlined as the alien champions. Its limbs slightly bulkier than the rest. And its movements, though precise, were unfamiliar. The Gorthons, confident in their superiority, whispered among themselves. "That human will embarrass himself," one said. "His machine cannot possibly compete with the precision of ours." Elias Kale entered the arena alongside the warhorse. From the cockpit, he observed the crowd, the other machines, and the holographic data streaming across his control interface. He felt no fear. He knew that the warhorse had learned, adapted, and transformed into something beyond expectation. Today, the world would see the fruit of human ingenuity. The opening bell rang and the competition began. Massive machines clashed in the central arena, their metal bodies colliding with deafening force. Sparks flew and the air shook with every impact. Elias guided the warhorse forward, its legs moving with surprising speed and coordination. The crowd gasped as the once ridiculed machine advanced confidently toward its opponents. The first challenge was agility. Alien machines darted and spun around the arena, their designs emphasizing speed and precision. The warhorse, despite its bulkier form, navigated the obstacles with intelligence rather than sheer velocity. It anticipated each turn, each jump, and each incoming attack. Its adaptive AI calculated angles, speeds, and forces in real time, allowing the warhorse to move with fluidity that surprised the spectators. "Impossible," muttered a blue-skinned alien engineer in the stands. "It shouldn't be able to move like that." Elias smiled slightly. "It's not just about speed," he murmured to himself. "It's about thinking, adapting, and responding." The next round involved strength. Enormous robotic arms swung through the arena, attempting to crush or lift the warhorse. Yet the machine countered each attack with calculated precision. Its reinforced armor absorbed blows, while its enhanced joints allowed it to shift weight and dodge with minimal energy. It used the momentum of the attacking machines against them, toppling a massive quadruped with a clever push. The crowd erupted, some in astonishment, others in disbelief. Then came the strategy round, the ultimate test of intelligence. Holographic simulations projected multiple enemies attacking from different directions, some with invisible energy shields and others with weapons that had adaptive targeting. The warhorse moved as if it could see the battlefield as a whole. It positioned itself strategically, forcing enemies into traps, using terrain to block attacks, and even creating openings for counterattacks. Every decision, every movement, demonstrated a level of foresight that no alien machine had ever shown. Elias guided the warhorse with subtle commands, but much of the action was independent. The AI had learned to make judgments on its own, coordinating attacks and defenses faster than any human reflex could manage. It was a combination of human ingenuity and mechanical intelligence, something the galaxy had never witnessed. Spectators who had once laughed now watched in stunned silence. The Gorthons, confident in their mechanical superiority, furrowed their brows as the warhorse deflected strikes, anticipated attacks, and adapted its strategy on the fly. It's learning faster than it should, one admitted quietly. As the rounds progressed, the warhorse faced increasingly difficult opponents. A pair of alien machines tried to flank it simultaneously, a tactic designed to overwhelm its defenses. But the warhorse responded with creativity. It dodged one strike, redirected the force of a collision to tip another machine, and then used the arena's barriers to shield itself from incoming attacks. The once laughable machine now dominated the battlefield, with an elegance that the crowd could not deny. Elias's confidence grew with each success. He could feel the warhorse responding to his intentions not as a tool, but as a partner. Together they moved in harmony, combining human ingenuity with mechanical precision. It was a display of cooperation and intelligence, a clear testament to what humans could achieve when creativity and determination met opportunity. The climax approached. In the final round, the warhorse faced the reigning champion, a massive, four-armed war machine known across the sector as the Titan of Varnak. It was a machine of fearsome reputation, built to crush anything in its path. The crowd erupted in cheers for the Titan, confident in its victory. The battle began with a deafening roar. The Titan swung its arms in a wide arc, aiming to crush the warhorse instantly. Elias guided the machine, but the warhorse moved faster than expected. It ducked, rolled, and countered, landing a precise strike on the Titan's leg joint. Sparks flew and the massive machine staggered. The Titan retaliated, swinging again with devastating force. The warhorse anticipated the move, leaping backward, then using the momentum to push the Titan against the arena wall. Metal screeched and dust rose into the air. The crowd was on its feet, some cheering, some silent in disbelief. Elias pushed the warhorse further, testing its limits. It dodged, countered, and attacked with a combination of speed, strength, and intelligence. The Titan, though powerful, could not predict the moves of the warhorse. Each strike, each maneuver was unexpected, a blend of human creativity and mechanical execution that no alien engineer had prepared for. Minutes felt like hours as the battle raged. The warhorse adapted with every move, learning patterns, predicting attacks, and exploiting weaknesses. Finally, with a coordinated strike, it brought the Titan to its knees, unable to continue. The arena shook with the energy of victory. Silence fell for a moment, then erupted into a roar of astonishment. Aliens who had once laughed now stared in awe. The human, riding a machine they had mocked, had outperformed the greatest war machine in the galaxy. Elias climbed out of the cockpit, his eyes scanning the crowd. He did not gloat, but he allowed a small smile. Around him, spectators whispered and pointed, their disbelief evident. A human did this. A human. The Gorthons, who had laughed the loudest, now looked at Elias and the warhorse with a mixture of respect and confusion. How? One murmured. No species should have created a machine that can outthink us. Elias looked at the warhorse, now standing proudly amidst the arena dust and debris. It's not just the machine, he said softly, almost to himself. It's human ingenuity, adaptation, creativity. That is what makes us strong. Throughout the galaxy, stories of the warhorse began to spread. Reports of a human who had taken a broken, ridiculed machine and transformed it into a champion reached worlds that had never considered humans capable of such innovation. Across alien societies, respect for humanity grew, slowly replacing the laughter that had once greeted their efforts. The warhorse, once broken and mocked, now symbolized something greater, a testament to the power of perseverance, intelligence, and human ingenuity. In its movements, aliens could see the combination of instinct, learning, and strategy that only a human mind could inspire. Elias returned to the warhorse, patting its polished armor. "We did it," he said quietly. "They underestimated us, and now they will never make that mistake again." Even as the crowd slowly dispersed, whispers of astonishment and admiration filled the arena. Human beings, long underestimated by the galaxy, had proven something undeniable. When humans set their minds to a challenge, even the most broken tools could become extraordinary. And the warhorse, its metal frame gleaming under the arena lights, had become more than a machine. It was a partner, a proof of human potential, and a living demonstration that intelligence, creativity, and determination could triumph over raw power and ridicule. As night fell over the city once again, Elias powered down the warhorse, its systems humming softly. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, more opponents, and perhaps even greater tests of ingenuity. But for now, the human and his machine rested, ready to face whatever the galaxy might throw at them next. Because one thing was certain, the galaxy had seen only a glimpse of what humanity could do, and what came next would be even greater. The arena was quiet at first. A hush fell over the crowd as the dust from the previous battles settled. The warhorse stood tall and proud in the center, its polished armor reflecting the lights of the stadium. The audience had seen something they could not understand, something they had never expected. A human and his machine had defied expectations and claimed victory over the galaxy's greatest war machines. Elias Kale stepped out of the cockpit, feeling the weight of both exhaustion and triumph. His eyes scanned the crowd, now a mix of disbelief, respect, and curiosity. The laughter of yesterday had vanished, replaced by murmurs of astonishment. For the first time, many alien species realized that humans were not just clever or resourceful. They were unpredictable, creative, and capable of achieving the impossible. The Gorthons, who had mocked him and the warhorse countless times, now approached cautiously. Their scales shimmered under the stadium lights, their multiple arms folding in a display that seemed almost like hesitation. "We underestimated you," one admitted, its voice tinged with surprise. "No machine we have built could have done what your warhorse did." Elias smiled gently. "It wasn't just the machine," he said. "It was a combination of human ingenuity and determination. We don't give up, and we don't stop seeing potential where others see failure. That is what makes us strong." The Gorthons exchanged glances, a new respect dawning in their eyes. Around the arena, whispers spread like wildfire. Other alien species who had laughed and doubted humans now began to see a truth that could not be denied. Humans had a unique edge, one that could not be replicated simply by strength, technology, or raw numbers. News of the warhorse's victory spread quickly. Hollow broadcasts reached planets across the sector, showing footage of the human riding the machine with precision and strategy. Analysts debated, scholars wrote papers, and engineers marveled at the machine's adaptability. Even aliens who had never interacted with humans felt a sudden awareness. The species they had dismissed as weak or primitive now commanded respect. Back in the arena, Elias took a moment to study the warhorse. The machine, once broken and ridiculed, now moved with quiet confidence. Its AI systems hummed softly, processing every sound, every vibration, every subtle movement in the arena. It had learned, adapted, and transformed beyond its original design. But more than that, it had demonstrated something that no alien machine could: a partnership between human creativity and mechanical intelligence. Elias ran his hand along the machine's armor. "We've come far," he said. "But this is only the beginning. There is more we can do, more challenges we can face, and more potential to unlock." The following days were filled with recognition and offers. Alien leaders invited Elias to their worlds, engineers requested consultations, and scholars asked for explanations of his methods. Humans had never before been celebrated across the galaxy for ingenuity rather than conquest. And Elias realized that the warhorse had become a symbol of what humans could achieve when given a chance. In a specially arranged demonstration, Elias and the warhorse performed advanced maneuvers for alien dignitaries. The machine leaped, dodged, and countered holographic attacks with precision and creativity. Every move was calculated yet unpredictable, demonstrating the combination of human strategy and machine intelligence. The audience watched in awe, some clapping with admiration, others recording every movement for analysis. Even the Gorthons, who had once mocked the warhorse, now applauded. We see now, one said, that humans are not to be underestimated. Their creativity and adaptability are as formidable as any technology we have built. Elias shook his head slightly. It's not about underestimating anyone, he replied. It's about recognizing potential, sometimes where no one else looks. That is what humans do. We adapt, we learn, and we find solutions others miss. The warhorse itself became a sensation. Engineers from multiple worlds requested blueprints. Scholars debated its AI systems, and young aliens lined up to see it up close. The once broken machine, which had been laughed at, was now a living testament to human ingenuity. Children across alien worlds imagined themselves riding it, humans and aliens alike inspired to think differently, to innovate, and to challenge assumptions. Elias knew the impact was bigger than a single victory. Humans had earned more than applause. They had earned a place in the minds of other species as creators, thinkers, and innovators. The warhorse had proven that even those dismissed as weak or flawed could become extraordinary with patience, vision, and determination. In quiet moments, Elias reflected on the journey. He remembered the first day he saw the warhorse, its rusted body and flickering sensors. He remembered the ridicule of the alien crowd, the skepticism of the marketplace, and the countless hours spent repairing, upgrading, and teaching the machine to think. Every step had required patience, creativity, and a refusal to give up. And now the warhorse stood not just as a machine but as a symbol. It was proof that human beings could transform challenges into triumphs, that laughter could be turned into respect, and that even the most broken tools could become something extraordinary. One evening, as the twin suns set across the metallic cityscape, Elias and the warhorse stood together atop a high platform overlooking the arena. The lights of the city reflected off the machine's polished armor, and the hum of its AI systems was almost musical in the quiet air. They doubted us, Elias said softly. They laughed at what they didn't understand. But now they see, and they will never forget. The warhorse responded with a low hum as if acknowledging the words. In its movements there was a sense of pride and anticipation. It had completed its transformation, but it also knew that the adventure was far from over. The galaxy was vast, filled with new challenges, and Elias and the warhorse were ready to face them together. Across alien worlds, humans began to be celebrated for ingenuity, creativity, and adaptability. Scientists studied their inventions, leaders sought their counsel, and young beings aspired to emulate their determination. The victory of the warhorse was not just a win in the arena, it was a statement to the galaxy. Humans were capable of achieving greatness in ways no one had anticipated. Elias allowed himself a small smile. We've done more than win, he said. We've changed minds, changed hearts, and shown that human potential cannot be measured by appearances or expectations. And in that moment, the warhorse seemed to gleam even brighter, as if understanding its own significance. Once a broken, ridiculed machine, it had become a champion, a symbol, and a testament to what humans could achieve. The galaxy, which had once laughed, now watched in admiration. Humans were no longer underestimated, no longer dismissed, and no longer seen as simple creatures. They were innovators, thinkers, and visionaries, capable of transforming the impossible into reality. Elias and the warhorse would continue to travel, face new challenges, and inspire countless beings across the stars. Their story was no longer just about a single machine or a single victory. It was about what humans could achieve when they refused to give up, when they saw potential where others saw failure, and when they combined determination with creativity. And so, as the twin suns set once more over the city of metal and light, Elias Kale and the warhorse looked toward the horizon. Tomorrow, new adventures awaited, new challenges would rise, and the galaxy would continue to witness the extraordinary power of human ingenuity. Because one truth was now clear to every world that had doubted them. Humans could take the broken, the ridiculed, and the impossible and turn it into greatness. The warhorse, once mocked, now stood as a beacon of hope, creativity, and human strength. A reminder that even in a galaxy full of laughter and doubt, persistence, intelligence, and vision could change everything. And as Elias and the warhorse disappeared into the stars, the galaxy knew that humanity's story was only beginning.